for a second. That's why.
Hey everybody, welcome to the January 2021 Q&A. We've got almost a full group of allies here. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Don is probably off saving the multiverse, I imagine, but
Again.
this is we do this every month for $20 and up patrons. Thank you to everybody who submitted questions, and thank you to everybody watching. Our first question comes in from Alexander. As always, boy, I want to mail this guy an award for getting the first question every month. It's very good.
Yep.
Hello, allies. A few months ago, I realized my PC monitor supports a variable refresh rate. With some experimentation, I've discovered that 40 FPS looks just as smooth as 60, and since then I've started targeting this frame rate and use extra GPU resources to boost visual fidelity and resolution. This experience made me realize how lacking graphical options are on consoles. I get that simplicity may be appealing to certain audiences, but I also see no reason to not have these options somewhere deep in the menu. For example, if a game generally uses 440p rendering, 1440p rendering, and I only have a 1080p display, why can't you lower resolution and boost shadow quality? Quite often, Digital Foundry finds exact matches between console settings and PC settings, so I have all the more reason to believe that game engines support the same or nearly the same graphical options on every platform, and it's just a matter of creating UI for these settings. Do you think that we'll see such options on console anytime soon, or am I the only one who desires PC-level customization for console games?
I'd
say, go ahead.
I know that he's definitely not the only one,
Right.
which is usually the answer when people say that. But I will say that just even having performance versus fidelity mode on the new consoles recently, it stresses me out. It really, I prefer to okay, figure out what your vision is, figure out what this game should look like when you've got set hardware. I would prefer to have them figure that out, and me know, and partly from a production standpoint, me know what to record, me know what your game is supposed to look like.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of where I lie on it. I really enjoyed the Spider-Man, the additional option they put in, the performance ray tracing medium setting. But yeah, at the same time, as somebody who hasn't gotten into a 4K set yet, maximizing the visuals for 1080p is definitely something I can be interested sometimes as well.
Well, I'm having an issue lately because I did just get a 4K TV, my first one ever, and the TV's too damn smart. It's trying to do too much, and so I'm constantly worrying what is my TV doing that it doesn't need to be doing? What is it? I was playing Resident Evil 7 and I set the HDR setting. It's make the middle square so that it's as bright as the outer square, and I couldn't. I could make it max or lowest brightness, and I could always see the middle square. And the sky looked all nar outside. It was super moirade and compressed. It looked like JPEG
That's amore.
But I know that there's got to be some kind of hey, stop being smart TV button, but I just don't know what that button is.
I feel like HDR is so inconsistent across the board with games. Some games just the implementation is better than others. Because I played the Maiden demo last night for the first time on my big TV, and the HDR is freaking.
Oh, Maiden demo looked amazing. Same engine, same HDR settings. I didn't go outside and see the sky, so who knows? But yeah, I played it literally back to back, Maiden first and then RE7.
Yeah.
But stuff like HDR, I totally see people that are even experts in the space, get frustrated or have to get other users of certain TVs opinions on what kind of settings to use. It's some of that stuff is definitely far from consumer friendly.
It's crazy. Omar and I have identical TVs out there, and we were on the same firmware. We were both playing Demon's Souls on our PS5s next to each other. We were in the same area, and mine looked way better than his, and all of the settings were the same, except his TV for some reason didn't have one of the settings I had. It was so weird. We were both just what is happening?
Firmware updates on TVs, yep.
Ugh, it's nuts.
I know Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War supports depth of field, which is really nice. I think more shooters specifically should support that. I think Modern Warfare might as well, but I'm not sure. I know Cold War supports it.
as well.
Destiny 2. Yeah, and I think that's a good implementation. And it's part of the reason why I generally prefer to play things on PC is having those options and tuning them to your preferences. So I would definitely be on board for more options. And I do think they're taking steps to get there, not only with depth of field, which I mentioned, but also just mouse and keyboard support on games as well. Yeah. Is really nice to see.
Oh, they're asking you mean depth of field or field of view?
Sorry, I'm meaning field of view. That was super stupid.
Yeah, because I feel like depth of field is kind of bad in shooters.
Yeah, no, not depth of field. Field of view, FOV is what I meant. That was dumb.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea to have performance in whatever fidelity mode. I kind of agree with Blood on the sense that it is good to have developers shoot for something, but I always think it's nice to have the option of 60 frames, especially depending on the game. If it's very action heavy, I will gladly take lower resolution, even playing on a 4K TV for better frame rate.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would always prefer.
I hope they keep doing stuff like that.
Frame rate over resolution. I guess maybe in specific, like super specific instances where
right. Some games can look bad, like really bad, like worse than others, I feel like, in 1080p, but sometimes, like Demon Souls isn't 4K at 60, but I'm not playing that game and not 60 anymore. Like, I can't do it on PS5. It looks so much worse than 30.
Yeah, and I think that's something, too, that, like, yeah, there's just something about some games where I don't know if there's something more specific about, like, their blending or their frame rate, like frame pacing issues or whatever, but yeah, there's just something about that Demon Souls remake that just looks terrible at 30 in a way that a lot of other games that run at 30, you don't even notice.
Bloodborne, something on my TV was making it look really like smeared or something.
Yeah, have you calibrated your TV?
I did. I have it set to like, don't do any auto stuff. Like I turned off motion blur and everything. I don't know.
But like the picture, like the brightness, the auto adjusting. Okay.
I got to do it again. Yeah.
Every brightness adjust I've ever played, I'm just like, fine. They're like, move the slide. I'm like, let's play the game. I don't care. Like, how would I know? How would I know? Like,
they tell you
the first level. How would I? Right, but how would I know that was right? Like, if I go into your thing and it's like, this is clearly how dark it should be.
And then
no way to measure that.
And the recording issue is like you get that right for your TV, but then it like it records a certain way, and then it actually looks wrong on everything else that you put it on because your TV is just weird.
Those site ratings with no A, RTINGS. It's like the premier TV site. They have not only the best TVs, they have all the settings that you should use for your TV. So I just follow that shit.
RTINGS?
Ratings with no A. It's really good. Highly recommend. They got so many settings in there. They do me right.
Man, I just want my PS5 to work. I'm getting the box today to send it in, which is
damn, Ben.
Yeah,
Ben. Luckily, I did that too. It only took like 3 days.
Okay, dude, that's awesome. That's way better than I would expect. So that gives me comfort. Thank you, Brad. Next one is from Mike Cook. I think this was meant to just be a placeholder and didn't come back to write the question, but it's still jolly regardless. From Mike Hook, one. Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Nice. Let's discuss.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. How dare you? So early in 2021 to was it a cavalier attitude.
Was it a hello or a hi?
It was a hi.
Any punctuation?
No.
No punctuation.
No punctuation.
Actually,
okay. All right.
Speaking of highs, this
my
is just
goodness.
like a fun, jolly story. No, it is. So I was sending out the awards emails yesterday, and like I sent the one to Sony, and I sent it to the 3 main Sony contacts I work with, and one of them came back asking about speed runs because the Astro was the thing that won, and then the 2 others are just like, "Hey, I just wanted to say hi, Daniel." Like, "Oh, I'll get down this party too. Hi."
Yay.
You did it, Mike Hook.
Awards, bringing people together.
You did it.
Our next question comes in from Michael Agnell. Hello, Easy Allies. That was a hello. there, not a high. I play games on the PS2 like Dragon Quest VIII, Ys 6, and Haunting Ground. I also play on the PS3 like Eternal Sonata, and PS1 games like Final Fantasy 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and The Adventures of Alundra. I would have loved to see that the PS5 was backwards compatible with further than just PS4 games. Absolutely. What do you think about that?
I think everyone agrees.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's why I still have the PS3
Same.
hooked up and around is for PS1 and PS2 stuff.
Well, that's the
Those PS1 classics, man. I love them.
My dumb ignorant take is that Sony should sell that. They should sell a box that plays PS3, PS2, and PS1 discs.
Totally, Jones. I'm down.
Wait, what if
I
it's
brought that up
the
a couple times, and
PlayStation
people are always
3.
like, "What? No one would buy that." It's like I would buy that. I think that'd be cool if that was like on the market and there were discs. You can put them in
The fat
play old
PS3.
games.
Dude, I played some of those old
Reissue
games
it.
weird though, man.
Yeah. I
It
think
was
they should
not
bring back
perfect.
they
What's
should
that?
bring back that like 32X kind of thing where it's just an attachment you put on top of a PS5.
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
give that thing some size, some heft.
I am surprised, and maybe it'll still happen with, what is it, the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil? It'd be nice, I think, if they put out like 1, 2, and 3, the PS1 versions, kind of just up there as a collection or something.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
That
think-
would be nice, man. That would be
But I
so
actually
nice.
think Ian's suggestion is interesting because it is a hardware issue. It is a very like different
Sure.
architecture, and it's
Oh, yeah.
it's not compatible. The
And
PS3
whose
is not
fault is
compatible
that?
next to anything. But yeah, I'm curious how some sort of add-on would, possibly function if it were even, whether it would have to be hardware, whether you could get some kind of an app that would make it work. I don't know.
I just want it like 32X style, just like this big, ugly thing that you just slam on top of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like a hat. I will say though, this is the most seamless between the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 libraries. This is the most seamless transition I've ever had in terms of like not even knowing or thinking really. Like when all this Cyberpunk backlash came out, I was like, wait, aren't I playing the PS5 version? It's like, no, you're playing the PS4 version. Or I was playing on Xbox, but it's like, no, you're playing last gens and this gen. It's like, wow, in some cases I can't even tell, or it's not even significant to me from a consumer perspective. I just go into the
And in
5
some
or Series
cases,
X
like Call of
infrastructure
Duty,
and get
people
the
just
game.
start the PS4 version without realizing that the
Yeah.
PS5 version is sitting right there.
right. Like Avengers now being like, in our war table, we're going to detail our next gen versions. You're like, you're what? Oh, right. And like those necessarily won't get that huge headlines like when they finally happen. It's like, well, I'm not really noticing that much of a difference, Whereas I think in previous gens, it'd be like, finally, oh my God, Last of Us on PS4. So,
Speaking of Hawkeye coming down.
yeah.
Our next question comes in from James Davey. Hey, allies. Firstly, those Hunt Down and Bug Snacks goatee snubs were hard to take, but they fade to black in comparison to your passion and ceaseless hard work. Thanks for all that you do. I love that. I'm mad, but it's okay. A few months ago, I asked the allies about embarrassing moments from their childhood. However, Ben, Huber, and Blood weren't present for that particular Q&A, so I want to ask what embarrassing moments they can recall, and perhaps Brandon, Ian, Damiani, and Brad can retell their moments if they can recall them or reveal new ones.
I don't experience embarrassment.
I have one. So I went to Catholic school pretty much up through high school.
You did?
It did, yeah.
Oh.
And obviously because it was a Catholic school, we prayed. And there was one time, I believe it was in 4th grade, where we were like all holding our hands and praying. And like I think we all had to ask for something like that, or like just some. It was either like something that you're thankful for, or I think that's what it was. I think it was around Thanksgiving time. I think you had to say something that you were thankful for. And me just being a little shit, I was like, oh, I'm really thankful that I finally got a holographic Charizard Pokemon card.
Nice.
Because I had wanted one so badly, thinking it would be funny, and it did not go over well. Yeah, it was like very awkward. Yeah.
The powers that be knew, though.
Yeah.
They were shining down on you.
Yeah.
For sure.
God takes a special interest in who wins football games and who gets Pokemon cards.
It's true.
I'm trying to think. I'm having a hard time coming up with specifics. I just feel. I mean, wasn't that a whole 12 years an embarrassing moment?
Which whole 12 years?
That's good, Blood.
don't get embarrassed. Can't think.
Oh my gosh.
Just laugh it off. I will say
That's great.
Was
That's great attitude.
I was embarrassed with like a mistake I made in a review back in the day. That one, I still hold on to that one. I like said a different word. It was Hitman 2. I said it was Dubai, but it was Mumbai. Always think about that mistake, and it's embarrassing.
Haunting.
I just said depth of field when I meant field of view. So
yeah, it's exactly like that. Exactly. And I don't know why. That one has stuck with me for so long.
Yeah.
I think it was the mean comments.
I mean, we all know it's because you're a super hateful and xenophobic person, Huber.
Right.
Yeah, you got me.
Said you had to press X to get on the horse in Shadow of the Colossus when I didn't realize you could just grab onto your horse. Like you could grab onto everything in that video game. And it's like, and that was, yeah. The review was done. Nothing to do about it. It's done. Just like,
it's the worst feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just up there forever. Blood's got to have something. We are not, Ben, you are not moving on to the next one.
We can move on if the blood doesn't have anything, but
come on, Blood.
Come on, Blood. One time when you said something in a review that you didn't mean to.
They're talking about childhood. I didn't.
Dude, you've been doing reviews since you were like 6 years old, right?
Sure. Well, there's definitely something in there that was.
Blood was never a child.
Yeah, I'm updating our.
Yeah.
I feel like I get embarrassed by things I like wrote a year ago. You know, that's just like how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next question.
Oh wait, no, I got it.
Okay.
I should have known that was exactly what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
Blood was going full Huber style, dude. I love it.
If you were talking about reviews, I'm trying to think what it was. But before, this was even before I was doing the local paper. I was doing like just like really, they were like 4 paragraphs in like a school newspaper, and like I had just from screenshots just misjudged Secret of Mana and thought that all the characters were female because of how they looked, how their sprites looked. Like I actually wrote that.
I can
in the
see
article.
that. Yeah, that's very funny.
Excellent.
All right, next question comes in from Ulf. Ulf himself, sorry. That was the whole thing there. Hello, allies. Do you have an internal monologue? A while ago, I was very surprised to find out that not everyone has an internal monologue, as in thinking in actual sentences, as if talking to yourself. Apparently, some people's thoughts are much more abstract. How about you? Do you think in actual sentences, or are your thoughts different? No, I definitely do. Constantly.
I can't get a full sentence out. my brain will will chop that with something else. Yeah, mine is very abstract and like popcorn.
I mean, I've gone through like entire conversations and arguments and whatever's in my brain. Like my brain won't stop.
Yeah,
that's different. I'm really good at giving dialogue to other people, like getting in fights that never happened.
Like George Costanza style, dude.
I definitely do that too. Yep.
The thing that I hate is like when I'm struggling like with writing something, and then like I'll go to the bathroom or take a shower, and then like my head will work it all out.
Yep.
And then I come back to write it down, and I'm like,
it's gone.
what was
Just
it?
happened to me. Brother.
Worst. The worst.
Legit. Just happened.
You gotta rush out. Do it right
Yeah.
quick. No.
Dude, yeah. One time I was watching like Mandalorian or Damiani with Beth, and like I had a thought. It was like the middle of some dramatic episode, and my mind never stops. So I like pause it. She's like, what? And I just like bolt out of the room, and I'm just like, all right, I had a thought. I had to get that down. I didn't want to lose that.
Yeah. So it's like fun, like when you're like in the stream of consciousness, you write something like, "Man, this is the best thing ever. It sounds so good in my head," and you stop and you like go read it like. This
Read it out
sucks.
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What was I thinking?
I definitely have had moments where like I'm in the middle of a deep writing process and I'm cranking away and I'm like, oh man, I'm really happy with this. This is awesome. And then like I start editing it and it's like, you idiot. This sentence is missing words. What's up with your punctuation? Like it's just like a good cop, bad cop moment when I'm writing sometimes.
I've thought about this question since I read that article, and like, I definitely talk to myself all the time, like in my head and out loud. but I'm never just thinking one thing at a time. Like I could think way faster than I can talk or write, you know?
Right.
And I get bored with myself if I'm just doing one thing at a time, you know? Probably why I'm so fidgety. Just got my phone.
Yay.
Just arrived.
Now stay in your chair. Unboxing. Q&A unboxing.
Yeah, they didn't mess it up. They didn't leave it somewhere weird. I'm sanitizing the box.
Our next question comes in from RF Switch. Greetings, allies. Another simple question that in no way has anything to do with my writing or drawing whatsoever. Suppose you were in a superhero universe. What kind of powers would you have? Also, don't be afraid to get wild and or weird with it. After all, you all know how I roll with superpowers at this point.
I like to teleport into people's cars and tell them, criticize their driving.
Oh my gosh.
That's my
perfect.
superpower.
Like the Matrix 2
Backseat
ghosts.
driver.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I take over the car for a second. So like if they freak out, oh my God, it's this person in my back seat. Like they're not going to crash the car. It's like, no, you're fine.
Gotcha.
And then I just, as long as I say, like, just letting you know you were driving way over the speed limit or you did not use your turn signal, just letting you know. And then, so like, it's not, because that's the thing. If you like criticize, if you wait and then you like follow them into a grocery store, you know, and then you're like, hey, we're on the freeway together. And you're like, what's the matter with you? Like, they're not going to remember that. That's not going to affect them at all. But they're going to get home and they're going to be like, should I tell my friend, my spouse that somebody just appeared in my car magically? Or am I just going to have to reckon with that by myself that I'm a bad driver? It's the only way to actually get them to change their driving habits, I think. Be my ability.
My special power would be, I've said this before, I would never be able to get a copyright strike, and I can freely use copyrighted music in any way I want. Copyrighted content,
So
any way I want it, I could use it. Streaming, whatever, like
That is
YouTube
very
videos,
good.
and everyone's just like, oh, Damiani, he's just like, it's just
Slips through.
accepted that I have that power.
Damiani, I'm gonna build off that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna build off that one. My power, anything I touch is fixed.
Whoa.
Any like
Oh.
technical problems, any kind of
Whoa.
issues, touch it, it works perfectly.
Are we talking medical stuff too? Like you touch someone
all
that's
of it.
sick?
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, this gets a little like, it gets a little dangerous, man.
Non-living things.
Okay.
Just
like
take
that.
it all.
Why limit it?
Hey.
Go ahead.
I've always been very, fond or had an affinity towards lightning powers. I guess it's more.
Dude,
traditional
Storm
superhero
is so
stuff.
sick.
Yeah, but before even I knew
Palpatine.
about Storm, I was like all about it. Had like my own characters in my head and all that kind of thing.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Bloodworth, do you like Storm's electricity or Palpatine's more?
Oh, Storm's more. You sure?
Nice.
Particularly like when you get into like the abilities and like the X-Men Legends and stuff, like chain lightning stuff. Even in Hades, like I love chain lightning.
You gotta submit to the dark side for Force Lightning.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of my life thinking about this. If I could have like one mutant power, the answer is shape-shifting, no problem, for many reasons. A power from a movie that I've always liked, even though shape-shifting would still be the one, is what is it, Meteor Man, where he can touch a book and know everything in it. I think that's really sick. But then the real answer always comes around to, I just want Q powers from Star Trek. Because then you can do anything.
I hope you would adopt Q's personality as well, because he's just very fun.
And
I
fashion
think
sense.
I think if you're omnipotent and omniscient and have like infinite power, I think most people would end up being kind of like a dickish sort of Loki figure after a while.
You'd be like Dr. Manhattan. You just get bored with people, you know?
I'd be my own Q. I'd be my own one. Although there was a female one in Voyager, I think. And they needed Janeway to help them have a baby or something. And it was the whole episode. And they were like trying to convince her to do it. And she was like, I don't know. I don't really want to have a baby. And then they just like, the whole process is just like touching fingers, and then they like with her as an intermediary, and then they just have the baby there. It's just there.
Wow.
And she was like, that's it? You didn't tell me that was it. Or something like that. Yeah.
I am very, very fond of Spider-Man, and I think just having all of Spider-Man's powers would be fun. And also Wolverine, I think just having those fucking claws is so sick. But I think those are super boring answers. And so trying to be a little bit more creative, I really like the Fantastic Four. And I think having Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic powers would be super fun because I feel like the possibilities are endless for what you can do with them. Like, there's so many situations where you could just, like, contort your body in a creative way to make something happen. I think that would be pretty fun.
So you could be Luffy.
Yeah, you could, yes. That's also a good point, yes. Could just be Luffy. Our next question comes in from Kingsley. No questions, that I just want to say I appreciate the absolute shit out of the Easy Allies. Best in the biz, 11 out of 10.
Thanks.
I thought that was the absolute shit that is Easy Allies.
Oh, no. Appreciate the absolute shit out of Easy Allies. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kingsley, for the kind
You're
words.
absolute shit, but I appreciate you.
You're the absolute shit.
Next question comes in from DRD, 7 of 14. Please state... Oh, no. I went into such, like, autopilot there that I was reading the please state your questions in 200 words or less. It's not part of his question. Hello, allies. What would you put into a 20 PSP/PS Vita game collection on PS4/PS5?
Crisis Core.
Crisis Core, yeah, there you go. There's the first one.
Crisis Core, Birth by Sleep,
Tactics.
Just put all the Persona.
Persona 4.
Yeah.
Tactics, Sword of the Lines,
Tactics,
Persona 4
yeah.
Golden.
I think you should get Lumines on there.
Jean d'Arc. Was
John
that game?
Dark, yeah.
Yeah.
Game sick.
Gravity Rush.
The Resistance game I really like.
Yes, dude.
Which one?
Retribution.
Yeah.
Not the
Game
Vita
is
one.
Sick as hell.
Okay, I was like, isn't that
I don't
bad?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe the
good Killzone
PSP
one,
is
too.
called...
Yeah, just good Killzone one.
The Metal Gear
yeah.
Solid
The Acid
card
games.
thing, yeah, Acid.
What's tricky with something like Tearaway
Peace
is
Walker.
that they made a PS4 version of that
Right.
because you
Yeah.
can't just port that game. You need a Vita to play it.
Yeah.
Vita version
Monologues.
was a little better.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I didn't get to
It
play
had,
it.
yeah, it had just really cool functionality.
Peace Walker is kind of the same thing where they have made it playable on console already. But
Right.
yeah, you could for sure. Peace Walker's dope.
Dude, I remember Liberty City Stories being the craziest thing.
Oh, Shawnee D is right. Both the God of War PSP games are great. I think they also ported
yeah.
those to
Those are on
console.
the
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got HD.
A lot of
But
it.
those are great games. Yes, you're totally right
Was
about
the
that.
Uncharted
Golden Abyss is only on
Abyss?
Vita.
Yeah, that's
Because
another
the
one where
Liberty
it's
City Stories they put on
tied to
PS2,
hardware
right, James?
stuff.
Yeah, and they have Vice City Stories as well. My least
Yeah.
favorite GTA game. Yeah, Liberty City Stories is like to this day I've never gone back to a map in a game. It's just never happened. I mean, like Red Dead kind of, but it was still updated. Like I've never in a sequel gone back to the same exact city. It's just like this is cool. You know, they were like, go to this mansion at the top of the hill. I'm like, I know where that is. Like left, right.
Yakuza
like,
Jones.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because yeah.
It'd be thinking about it, it'd be cool to get the Monster Hunter PSP games
Mm.
updated. I think Freedom Unite is on phone, but I no, that's not happening.
Right. I know it's also been ported, but I really enjoyed Half Minute Hero. Cool game.
I'm sure there's a bunch of shit I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I can't recall.
Oh yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 2. This has never been
Isn't there
re-released.
3 also?
Well,
2 and 3?
yeah, but that one also didn't come out over here. But if they're gonna localize it, go ahead, localize
Yeah.
it, baby.
Yeah, I like tried to get Valkyria Chronicles 3 to work on my PSP and I just couldn't do it. I'm sure it was just a user error and I was doing something wrong, but that was annoying. Next question comes in from Ebo Show. Hi, allies. Just wanted to let you know that Among Us is a lot more fun in person and I can't wait for the Among Us stream in the studio. Thanks.
Among Us is more fun in person.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Us
How would
in
that
a
end
room
up working?
together, I guess.
Or are they talking about the
You play on your
Funhouse
phone, right?
video
Yeah.
where they did it in real life?
You play on your phone?
Oh,
Yeah, you can play on your phone or
Oh, I see.
Switch.
Yeah, Switches might work.
Switches might work. Next question comes in from Sage Mode Q. Hello, allies. Has there been an award that any of you guys have handed out or voted on in any of the past GOTYs? It could have been this year, where in the moment you were very happy with the decision or outcome, but when you look back on it, you were like, wow, this certain thing was better. This should have won that award. For me, Persona 5 losing soundtrack to Nier still hurts. Well deserved, though. Nier's soundtrack is. It's incredible. Probably the best part about the game, but also Uncharted 4 losing to Last Guardian for Game of the Year was also painful for me. What do you guys think? Anything like that come to mind? Also, I have a little mini question for Huber. Would Hitman 3 have been in your personal top 10 if it came out in 2020? Love the freaking game. Love that freaking game. Love and respect to all of you.
Yes. I mean, I think if you didn't agree with the choice, that's not the same thing as regrets.
Well,
yeah.
The one thing I will say about Last Guardian is that, and this was my idea, I'm pretty sure, is that I recommended the first time we did it, we'd do roll-off voting. So everyone would do, like how we do Hall of Grades, where you do like 3 points to this, 2 points to this, 1 point to this, which is a bad idea, because then it means that everyone's like second or third choice ends up with the most votes, even if like 2 members really, really don't want it to win.
Right.
So Last Guardian's win is like if everyone had voted on it and that's what would won, fine. But like it was just a flawed voting method that caused it to win. And that's why I'm salty about it more than the game itself. Because I think it won because it like I question if it was anyone's number, like if it was everybody's number 1 or not. If it was just like the one that most people number 2'd.
Yeah.
So it needed to win so we could improve our process. So it was actually it was a growing moment for everybody.
Well, we also moved that out of December into January after that year, I think, too, right?
I think so.
Oh, there we go.
I think that was part of it.
It was a big shift. My 3 favorite head-to-heads. I still think Grand Theft Auto 5 is better than The Last of Us. I still think The Witcher 3 is better than Bloodborne. But during the 2018 gen that was, when we were just rattling through games and we got to God of War, I was like, okay. You know, like I personally really was moved by Red Dead Redemption 2, but like, God of War was the best game of that year. I will. So out of those 3, I've conceded that one, but I still hold to the other ones.
This year, I don't think Last of Us 2 or Hades won any specific category, despite being nominated a bit. And
Last of Us didn't get anything.
Yeah, those games are too good to not win anything. Like they just deserve an award on their own, in my opinion. But that's kind of how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a weird thing because it's like you're not looking to try to like make sure something gets an award somewhere, you know, like you're trying to figure out what the best thing for each category is. And I think that's just the way it shakes out sometimes, you know, and so that's like, one of the things, like when I sent out like a lot of the winners, and it was also one of our 10 nominees for Game of the Year, because that stuff is like crazy competitive, and just making it at 10 is pretty significant.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true.
We should have put them in the honorable mentions because I didn't realize Hades didn't win anything either, but you're totally right. It was nominated for like 5 things.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is like we talked about both of those games so much regardless, you know, it's like they were very clearly on the top of our minds. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like I don't usually hang on to these things like some of you guys. Like I don't think about them a whole lot after the fact.
There's Persona 5 music. Yeah. But to be fair, I've never really heard that Nier soundtrack in context. So it's like, I don't even really
context on Nier as like the tipping point, where just some of the stuff that they did is like, are you kidding me? It's already amazing music, and then you see a boss battle and like, you did what right now?
Correct.
Yeah.
That was the case, having played both. Like they're both on par with each other. They're both so good.
Correct. Also correct.
Yeah. I usually just don't try to hang on to awards in the past and get hung up on it, you know.
And the multi-language thing Nier did.
I don't.
Guys are already on 2021 GOTYs, man. Like, let's go.
Oh yeah, it's begun.
Elden Ring.
We're officially in the race
go.
now.
I don't know what year I said it, but I think I said something like, the more you think about Game of the Year, like the more stupid it gets. Like it is a deeply imperfect process.
It says more about the people talking than the games they're talking about, I think. You know.
I was afraid of this GOTY for months. Like I was afraid of it, and it turned out pretty great. So
We made it through.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the feedback to Game of the Year because like I thought it was super chill most of the time. Like I thought everybody was respectful to other people's opinions.
Yeah.
But
I'm rewatching our Game Trailers Game of the Year Awards 2012 Best Soundtrack, and Xenoblade Chronicles is not even in this.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
I love how we were like all like, yeah, everything's good, and then Damiani's like, this is an outrage.
this is an outrage.
Our weed
I'm trying to remember the
powers
year I got
were
really
not
angry about
in
that.
full force yet. We weren't full weeb yet.
Are we full weed now?
I don't remember what was in
Have
there though.
you
'Cause that's the
seen
thing. A
Bar?
lot of times when
Journey,
people bring up
Mass
soundtracks,
Effect,
like
Fez.
yeah.
Do you know who won Best Character this
That
year?
stuff was
Matt?
all amazing.
All right, our next question comes in from Caesar Villa. Hello, allies. In less than 365 days, I will be turning 40, and while I don't think that will make any difference on how my gaming is handled, for entertainment's sake, what would be your play this before you are 40 recommendations? Estamos en contact, Caesar.
Wait, I think I missed exactly what the question was. The last.
All right,
Play
so
before you
play
40.
before. What are some games that you would recommend play this before you turn 40? What are some general recommendations?
God of War 2018.
Bloodborne.
I was gonna say, just take a look at our Hall of Greats. I
Hall of
think that's a
Greats,
good
yeah.
jumping off
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything with tremendous dexterity. Maybe those Guitar Hero
esports.
games. Maybe just get a couple of licks
Before
in
you slow down.
before you start to
Or-
slow.
Before you get arthritis and your hands fly off.
Yeah.
I do think Deadly Premonition 1 is worth going out of your way to experience.
I think that a more like once you're over 40 though, your seasoned life, take you might get more out of Deadly Premonition.
Yes, I think that is very true. I think you could argue that maybe Deadly Premonition is built in such a way that the older you are, the more you will like it. That doesn't even make sense, which is perfect for Deadly Premonition.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel any difference in how I play games after 40 versus
Yeah.
before 40.
Wait, did you hit 40?
Oh yeah,
You're 40? I thought
41.
you were 38. You're 41. Are you the oldest?
No, Brandon's the older.
We do
Brandon's
this
got a
like
few
every
months on
3
me.
months. I forget how old everyone is.
I
the third
truly
oldest?
don't think I know how old a lot of you guys are.
Everybody say how old you are.
42.
33.
31.
33.
I'm 30. I'll be 36 in less than a month.
Then I'm older than you, Ian.
You are?
Yep.
There
By
you
one.
go.
Yep.
Well, you'll be tied with me, but I have 2 more months, and then I will be
Yeah.
1+1. So yeah.
Wait,
I think what-
Blood
yeah.
41?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what decade you were alive bears very little impact for me in my experience of the games and stuff like that. Having a kid though, oof, boy, whether you want it to or not, it just every piece of entertainment's like, no, oh no. I'll like see it coming, like I'll start something and it's just like, oh, here's my little boy, and I'm like, oh crap, here we go. Oh great, time for this new little dump of emotions that I've never felt before. Like, ugh. Yeah, definitely redefines things.
Thanks, chat.
The correct answer is Chrono Trigger, so play that.
Nice,
Yo, yes.
nice.
Yeah. And Xenogears. I really like Xenogears. Game sucks.
Our next question comes in from Steve G. Hi, allies. I see a lot of love for Xbox Series X's controller, and while I do like it, I'm not sure I agree with those who say it's the best of all time. Got me thinking it could be a fun exercise to see what everyone's ideal FrankenController would be. As an example of what I mean, mine would be GameCube's form factor with Xbox Series X's textured grip, Xbox 360's analog sticks, Super Nintendo's D-pad, and PS5 face buttons and triggers.
Whoa.
Still hung on that DualShock 4, baby.
DualShock 4.
Just
for
need more
life.
durability. Those DualShock 4s would fall apart so easily. So I
I
just
prefer
need
the
that,
DualShock
that durability.
5 or whatever.
Yeah, I
The
think I
PS5
also
one
prefer
is-
the DualSense.
I don't think I've spent enough time with it to kind of pick one or the other. I'm sure if I went back to DualShock 4 now, I'd be like, yeah, it's all about DualSense now. But at the time, I remember we did this back at GT, this countdown. Viacom.
DualSense with Switch Pro battery life, because that thing lasts for like months. It's like witch magic.
I'm with you. I don't know if I'm the only one of the allies that feels this way, but I think I prefer asymmetrical joysticks as opposed to the Sony's.
Yeah, I do too. I honestly, I feel like the ideal thing would be as if you had like the DualSense, but like somehow you could swap the positions of the D-pad and the analog stick depending on which you're going to use more. Because I feel like that lower position, whichever one you're using, it just feels off to me. It never feels like it can be quite as precise if I'm in the lower position.
In chat, Ben Fitter saying offset joysticks. That is the correct way of saying that. Thank you.
I like both, I guess. I used to be super anti-offset joysticks, but now it's really grown on me. So I like both just about equally.
I'm okay with both.
Yeah, I really like the Switch Pro controller. I really like that controller.
I definitely did not like the PlayStation joysticks until the PS4. The ones before always felt awkward to me.
The slippery,
yeah. The PS3 controller is probably my least favorite controller like of all time. That was just like there were franchises like Killzone. I was like, no, I'm not playing a shooter on this controller. It weighs nothing. The thumbsticks are real small. The triggers aren't satisfying, and it's like there's no rumble like at launch. You're like, no, not gonna do it. One of these days I'll go back.
To kind of use, he's talking about the GameCube's form factor. I really like in the GameCube controller the way your fingers slide into the triggers. Like that is just so. I love those triggers so much.
Oh yeah, baby.
This one's great too, though.
Yeah, that's one of the best.
The OGs, like I just love the way these feel. And
totally.
This wireless reproduction is so good.
It'd be cool if you had like a controller that could just change shape just entirely depending on what you were playing.
Right.
Yes.
Like when you're just playing, when you're like, oh, I'm going to play Mega Man, it just turns into a Super Nintendo controller and you're like, okay, now I'm going to play Halo. And then, that'd be future metal, man.
Give us that liquid metal tech.
Yeah.
Come on, James Cameron, let's go.
Well, that's what's so great about that Super Nintendo controller is, for any games that will work with it, like if you want to use that D-pad, then there you go.
Yeah, it's such a good D-pad.
So much better than the Pro controllers.
I haven't used it, but just that Microsoft Adaptive controller is so amazing to me. It just looks so, and like that's adaptive, like you guys were saying, you can move it around and do stuff. Super cool.
I'm really happy all the hours I put into GoldenEye to perfect my use of the N64 controller gave me nothing. There's no return on that at all. Like Perfect Dark, man.
What a weird controller, man.
It's gone. It's like, nope, 2 sticks now. Like, oh.
But that's the thing. The N64 was trying to solve that problem, right? Because it's like, we've got to have a place where your thumb fits on the D-pad in the right spot, but it also fits on the analog stick in the right spot. So like, well, just put a third grip on.
Nintendo really swings for the fences every time, Sometimes they hit a home run.
Love them.
I think it probably would have been better received if there had been more games that actually used the D-pad. There's just very few 2D games that were on the N64.
Yeah.
I like that controller though. Like, it's so special.
Our next question comes in from Master Pants. Just a very fun name. Hey, I heard you like deliberating lists of games down to a single pick. Smiley face. I was hoping you could pick for me a game to play from this list of 5 RPGs. With your pick, I'll have a little bit of accountability. I'll have that little bit of accountability needed to start up one of these intimidating RPGs amongst my endless backlog of games. Please come to a majority decision. Thanks. Might be difficult. The list of games are Bravely Default, The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, Kodelka, the first game in the Shadow Hearts series, Disgaea PC, and Sakura Wars. So I have thoughts.
Yeah, Ben, you want to just
take it away, Ben?
I mean, I can only base on reputations for these. I haven't played most of these, but I would probably, as much as people talk about it, go with Trails in the Sky.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not an expert, but just going off of my own personal experience here, because the person mentioned that like being intimidated by these RPGs, and I totally get that sensation. Trails in the Sky 1 is like truly one of the chillest RPGs I've ever played. Like it has like kind of this small town vibe, and it has a lot of times like kind of a very just light, fun, chill, hanging out with people atmosphere. And so I think because of that, that might fight back against maybe a little bit of that intimidation that you're feeling. But with that said, Bravely Default is on handheld, and sometimes playing bigger RPGs on handheld is nice because you can just like grind it out and watch TV. And Bravely Default is like extra good for that because it has options for you to like turn off random battles or speed things up or that sort of thing. So that's a good choice as well.
Auto battle 4x speed, like the greatest thing in that game. It was so much fun.
Sure, Bravely Default. That sounds fun.
But, 3DS. It's an older game. Gonna break out your 3DS. I don't know if you got that charged.
Yeah, I guess the other thing you could maybe argue with Brave Default is like if you end up really liking it, there's Bravely Second, yes, but then Brave Default 2 is like literally coming out this upcoming month, so you can just like get right on that if you want.
But if you like Trails, that's like an endless fountain.
Yeah, you have if you like Trails, you have a mountain to climb, and enjoy the mountain for sure. So wait, what's our decision?
Take Trails.
Trails.
I agree.
Sure, go Trails then.
All right.
I don't know that we had a decision, but it sounds like we do now.
All right, Trails in the Sky. Enjoy. Let us know what you think. Our next question comes in from Stomps. Good names, man. What's up, Stomps? Hey, allies. The other day I was thinking about the organization of EZA, and I realized something. It's a lot like anarchy. Yay! It's a scary word with lots of extreme implications, but on paper, it basically means no bosses. EZA is a little different in that the patrons call some of the shots, but it seems like each ally essentially has the ability to make decisions for themselves and operate on the basis that they are valuable and will bring value to EZA and the world on their own free will. I know this is personal, so please read this question and or answer based on your own comfort level. Do you think working this way allows you to work/create at your best? What parts of working for an organization with a more corporate structure do you miss, if any? Love and respect, Stomps. You're called to read this edgy joke, which I will. Now that you're confirmed anarchist, what are your plans for burning down the world?
State of emergency. That's kind of my vibe. That's like the PS2 game. That's going to be I'm going to start there. This is a classic Cup of Jones question, so I will offer the flip side is when you are working in a corporate structure, there's a lot of stuff you just don't have to think about. Like we don't have, a lot of amenities that bigger corporations would have because we are all sharing, the collective pot of our revenue from our channels and from Patreon. And so there's just a lot that you're like, I don't have to think about that. Like you go home at the end of the day and it's just like, that's all the executives and the higher ups problem to solve. I've done my work. Now I can go home and do something else. So the freedom that you get that you wouldn't have comes with the cost of having to deal with a lot of those financial burdens of ensuring that the company remains successful, or just being like, hey, if it doesn't, it's like, not our bad. Yeah, that's the quick answer.
Yeah, the other thing that I think about a lot is just like, without having hierarchy, there are a lot of things you gain because we're our own bosses and we could do kind of whatever, and as long as we're not like offending or hurting anyone, that's fine. It does make things take a little longer because there's not like a decisive, just like, we're doing this now. I'm the boss. We're doing it, And I mean, thankfully we haven't had like a need for disciplinary action or anything like that. But I guess theoretically that would make that more viable too. But like, yeah, I mean, like just not having that chain of command. Sometimes you're like, we just need someone to say this, like right now, like enforce this, like, but thankfully we've been doing this for so long that we kind of like loosely just fell into our old roles anyway. And yeah, so we never really, it hardly comes up, I guess. we just do what we do.
I will say, like, under a corporate structure, when you would like have an idea for something and it didn't do well, it was just like, whatever, like I didn't earn more views for Daddy Viacom. Like, I think it was easier to kind of like shrug off a little bit. Here, it's like, oh no, like I failed the people that are directly supporting me, or like they didn't like this. It just feels like you're letting down somebody on a more personal level. And I think it makes the failures amplified for sure.
Dude, perfectly said, man. 100%. That's how I feel as well. I just miss that. There's way more accountability for us, I guess, because it is our company, it is us, and it is the patrons. So you just want to always do the best. I'll just never forget working at Viacom as an intern, and I won't say his name, but I remember talking to someone, and this person's advice was always, you got to just hide in the system, man. You got to just hide in a big company, get that paycheck, just ride it out.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's the easy comfort of like working for a big corporation. I feel like is just like you, like Ben said, you don't, you do bad and it's like, oh, they're not making as much money, but like you're doing you and you're getting your paycheck. So yeah, I don't know.
It's like, didn't you guys share that when you first came out of GT and you like met me? It was like, who the hell is this guy? It was like, it's working. It's working.
I had no idea what you did or who you were.
It's like when we moved to Defy and they were like, who's going to run this thing? I was like, I'm going to be in my office making retrospectives. Don't look at me.
Oh yeah, that was the biggest shock when like all the bosses were laid off and like, and so what?
Oh dear. I remember when I announced I was editor-in-chief of Game Trailers, like I said it on Twitch, and chat was like, congratulations. I was like, yeah. Like, yeah.
Well, it's
good news, I guess.
It's funny because a friend of mine recently asked like how much I pay for health insurance every month or whatever. And it's like a lot. It's like $300 or something. And they were like, oh my God, that's insane. And I was like, have you checked your paycheck? Like they're probably taking that much out of your paycheck to pay for your included health care anyway.
Again, just like, that kind of out of sight, out of mind, that decision making that you just kind of relieve yourself of when you're working for a bigger company.
An important thing to bring up is taxes. Taxes are so much more complicated now than when you could just plug in a W-2.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I suggested we do W-2s and you guys didn't want to.
No, I stand behind it 10,000%. I'm on your side.
It would be easy.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
Fucking K1 garbage. It's fine.
Wow.
Our next question comes in from Brian from Happy Gaming. Hello there, allies. I think it's safe to say that at one point or another, we've all had a crush on a certain fictional character in the games that we play. We all have our personal favorites. Maybe we fall head over heels for the bad boy like Dante from Devil May Cry, or the soft eyes of Aerith for Final Fantasy VII. I feel called out here.
You write this, man. You write this one.
These are both characters that I quite like. Whomever it is, we've all secretly held these crushes close to our hearts. Rarely do we ever debate or argue who is the best crush until now. Who's the video game character the Easy Allies would collectively date? I determined the best way to figure out this was to go game by game.
Oh my.
In the decision maker of them all, a tournament arc. Over the next several months, I'll make a list for several franchises, and it'll be up to you to decide which character wins that tournament from each game. This month, we have Persona 5. So, who's it going to be, allies? Who will take your heart? All right, let me throw this out there. Just as a group, for the group collectively. Sojiro.
Sojiro?
Yeah.
I don't remember who that is.
Is that the coffee guy?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Huh?
Guardian.
Sojiro.
Pretty sexy. I completely acquiesce in this department. I don't know if you'll get a collective vote.
And yeah, let me trying to find the
Didn't
characters'
really
names.
get far enough to.
There is a bracket
true love
that
in
was
that
put
game.
there, so I could use that as reference to. I can link that in
Is
Slack.
Sora on this list? Because that's my number one.
We're just
Sora?
doing Persona
Yep.
5.
Just Persona 5 right now.
Sora is not in Persona 5.
That's right.
That we know of.
That we know of. That we know of.
They have
check
similar
notes.
goals, dude.
Yes.
Unlocking hearts.
That's true. Yeah.
So wait, list them. Do you have them?
Well, these aren't all of the characters, but the characters written in this bracket are Akechi, Ryuji, Yusuke,
Akechi.
Joker, Sojiro, An, Futaba, Morgana, Haru, and Makoto.
Akechi, dude, and he's buying.
I don't want it to be Akechi, but if
He'd
that's
be a
what
psychopath.
you want, I'll go
I
with
don't
it.
know what these characters. Yeah, because I'm looking at like the adult characters and like I'm in the others section at this point for like the guys.
Sure.
I don't remember
Sojiro's
like
cool.
who's Sugimura. I forget who that is.
Me, it would be down to Ryuji, Sojiro, or Futaba, I guess.
Futaba, dude. Futaba's awesome.
Futaba's my favorite character. Makoto is also
I would pick
fantastic.
Makoto's
Funny.
awesome.
I was definitely on through that game, but
Even though-
My
Makoto's older
appreciation for
sister,
On has gone
yeah.
up, for certainly.
dude.
Makoto's older sister. What was her name again?
Oh yeah, the lawyer. I forgot.
Was she a detective? Thought
Oh yeah, Makoto seems cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get to her in the game.
You're thinking of Sae, yeah.
So yeah, that would her or the doctor for.
Yeah, the
The
doctor,
Doctor.
the hot
I
doctor is
was all about-
amazing. What is?
I was
Why am
all
I'm blanking on hot doctor's name?
Hot
Hot doctor's great.
Takemi or something, right? Start with a T.
Yeah, Takemi. Yep, that's right. That's right. Yep, Takemi is great.
All right, let's do Makoto or Hot Doctor. Hot Doctor.
Which one can we get
Dude,
behind more?
Hot Doctor is busy right now with the pandemic,
That's
so let's
true.
go. Makoto.
Oh, you're right. All right, so
She's got enough on
Makoto,
her
Makoto,
hands.
due to the pandemic.
She doesn't need to date all 8 of us at the same time.
That would be a handful.
Well, Takemi like is doing like experimental drugs.
Yeah, dude, that's fun. Awesome.
She's a bad girl, dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Who's your license?
Yes.
Wow.
And she's
Oh,
like got a questionable
Persona.
relationship with like this high school kid. It's weird.
Love that game.
So Makoto,
Makoto.
due to
Makoto.
COVID. Makoto, I want that to be our official answer. Makoto, due to COVID.
Due to COVID.
Okay.
And like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
All of the answers to this Q&A are due to COVID. There's a,
Yep.
that is
yeah.
that is
Yeah, I'd
you,
say,
you attach that
10 years
to
later.
every
Makoto
video, every
agrees.
post, every
Makoto
reply.
aged up. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, aged, obviously, age appropriate.
Digitally aged up.
What year is Persona 5? It's
Yeah,
contemporary,
It's okay. In
right?
Yeah.
2021, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it
So, you
came
know,
out, yeah.
It's been 3 years or so. Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, it was probably something more like 2016,
years.
2017, something like that, right?
Yeah, it came out in Japan, I remember, like way before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our next question comes in from Levy. Hello, allies. Name a game that you hate and a franchise that you love.
Resident 6.
Personal examples for me include Final Fantasy IX, Metal Gear Solid 2, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and Resident Evil 3.
Fantasy 9.
Yeah, I think
Dude,
RE6
RE6 is a good one, Huber.
Wow.
But you can go even better than RE6, Huber.
Huh.
Oh yeah, I hate Devil May Cry 2. That game sucks.
The best part about Devil May Cry 2, though, is how short and easy it is. So it's like painless, kind of.
It's just
So
like
quick.
so.
It's like getting
It's-
injected with a painkiller.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just trying. I'm trying to ease it. I'm
Dude, I
trying to-
love Metal Gear Solid 2.
Like Resident Evil 6 is freaking long.
Oh, Metal Gear
dude.
Solid 2, yeah, has a lot of different things.
Slog.
Yeah, you're right about that,
Long game.
Huber. You're right about that.
Oh,
I really don't like Twin Snakes, which I've said many times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'd pick Phantom Hourglass from Zelda.
Good one.
Game
Pick.
sucks.
We already talked about Liberty City Stories, so I will expound. But that was like clearly they just, shout out to the writers, man. I'm sure it's like a hard thing to write for a video game, but like you could tell they were so tired. Like I was just like, I was playing that game being like, wow, none of these missions are interesting. None of these characters are interesting. And it had Vice City Stories was like the pinnacle of like, I am a violent protagonist and I don't want to do this stuff, but okay, I'll kill 200 people. And you're like, it's just like, make up your mind, man. Like, they always try to find that middle, and they've gotten better and better at that. Even like some of the John Marston stuff was like, John, why are you still working for this guy? But yeah, Liberty City Stories was just very poorly constructive narrative. Or Vice City, sorry. But Vice City's fun town to run around in.
I never finished Mass Effect 3 because when I was playing through it, I already heard the ending, and I don't like that style of gameplay where it's like, here's a big map, make sure you keep everybody's numbers high enough to win the war at the end or whatever. So I just never finished it, but I do want to play the Citadel DLC. So
yeah, it's super fun.
In the remaster, I'm gonna have to try to slog through it, I guess.
Chat brought up Dynasty Warriors 9, which is a great pick. That game also sucks. One that is spicy, though, and I think pretty much everybody disagrees with me on. When I played it, I did not much care for Sonic Generations, and that is definitely one of the ones that people really prop up as a good one. But I wasn't that hot on it.
And I'll say this. I think it got praised. This is how I see it, because Sonic games are so terrible.
Oh yeah, like, the bar was low.
Yeah, the bar was low, and it was like, oh, here's one that's like okay. So everyone was stoked.
Mm-hmm. That's why I liked Unleashed as well at the time. I was like, oh, this game's not horrible.
You wanna hear a weird take? I recently was playing through Dark Souls 2 again. I love that game. I put Dark Souls 3 on my PS5 the other day. Played through the first boss, got the Uchigatana, that kind of stuff. There's just something off about it, man. There's something
Which
weird
one,
about
3?
PS3 to me. Yeah, I can't put my finger on it. There's just something weird about it. Like,
I really love Dark Souls 3, but I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
There is something...
There are parts of it, obviously I love it, but
yeah.
there's something weird about it, man.
They're all weird. They all feel super different from each other and weird.
Yeah. But
2 feels the weirdest to me.
2 definitely feels weird. It's got really splashy hitboxes, but like 3 has weird like enemy attack tracking, and like the shadows look weird or something. I don't know. There's something about it.
I really love 3.
Yeah. I mean, I'm replaying it because I remember being like less thrilled about it, but I love like certain story moments are the hardest hitting in any of the Dark Souls that are in 3. So
it's funny because when I play 3, I think of it like being way more modern in the lore.
Mm-hmm.
And when I play 1, it's an older game, but it also like feels ancient. Like it feels like it's taking place like thousands and thousands and thousands and like ages ago. I like that feeling. It's like I don't know how to describe that feeling or how you even make somebody feel that when playing the game.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't gotten into Dark Souls 3 in my replay, like really. So I'm sure that 2 weeks from now I'll be like, Dark Souls 3 is fucking good. It's perfect.
Chat mentioned Street Fighter V, and that's really interesting because I am super disappointed by Street Fighter V, but I also have still had many great times with it. So it's I don't hate it. I just am disappointed by it, if that makes sense.
What about Duke Nukem Forever, Ben Moore?
Oh, shit.
I do truly, from the bottom of my soul, hate Duke Nukem Forever.
Same.
Yeah.
I feel weird about saying this because I ended up not even really playing it, but man, Triforce Heroes was a weird freaking game.
Yeah.
The co-op DS one, right?
Yeah, but like the outfits and all that
3DS,
junk going on. Like, what the heck is that?
That was a weird game.
Yo, Brett Ellis. What about Nuts and Bolts?
Oh, yeah. I actually heavily dislike that game. I think that's a bad video game and an insult to the franchise, and it killed it. So fuck that game.
Ooh, Silent Hill Homecoming.
Oh yeah, Silent Hill's got some stinkers for sure.
Silent Hill Homecoming, that's 5, right? Yeah.
Dude, I want to get through Downpour, man. I had to capture it, Ian, for some video we were doing back.
That's the only one I haven't played.
Dude, I remember
the frame rate is
low
atrocious.
expectations. I remember playing an hour of it, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued.
Chad is on point with Dead Space 3. I do hate Dead Space 3.
Good lord, Dead Space 3.
That's bad, dude.
Huber, I never played Resident Evil 6.
Hi, Chat.
I can't, part of me just wants to fill that gap.
Dude,
but
Jones,
I
think
totally
you would
missed
have
it.
a good time. I'm not
Totally
even
missed
kidding.
it.
I could see you having the best time out of
I
everyone.
think I played it up to the cars blowing up in the street, and that's all I did.
With Dead Space 3?
No, with Resident Evil 6.
RE6.
Oh, Huber, let's stream Downpour, dude.
Dude, I'm so down to revisit it. Give it a couple
let's
hours,
try it
and
again,
if it gets us,
I
let's
don't know about
have a
that.
definitive Downpour analysis. Let's stream it.
analysis.
The
And then
final grade.
We'll cleanse our palate with beautiful shat memes. Love shat memes.
Our next question comes in from Varun. I want to try something. It probably won't work, but it will be interesting. There are no right or wrong answers. Just say what comes to mind first after hearing each sentence. The main thing I'm looking for is if these sentences elicit a positive or negative response from your brain. I only play this because an ally recommended it to me. This is so many things. It's hard to narrow it down to one thing.
Fucking Kingdom Hearts, dude. Brad Ellis.
Yeah, it's usually positive for me.
Pushing me so hard to finish those over the years. Only
Sorry,
reason.
so we're just saying if this is a positive or negative thing.
Very
Yeah.
positive.
Okay. Yeah, it's usually positive.
Yeah, I would agree. All right. That was an uncomfortable experience.
I love uncomfortable experiences.
I don't.
That's positive.
That's negative
it
for me.
depends.
that was
Negative
The
off
growth.
the top of my head, yeah.
Growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I would-
depends on the kind of uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Right, right.
There's
Like,
so many
I
degrees.
feel like there's context behind that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Like-
generally negative.
I guess
Every
negative,
Hall of
yeah.
Greats is an uncomfortable experience, but
Right.
they're all so good.
Like
So, it's
the EZX meetups can be uncomfortable, but they're a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it really depends on the kind of thing. But I guess by just the definition of the word uncomfortable, it's not wholly positive.
Yeah, if we're watching an E3 trailer and that's what we say after it, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a good
Right.
thing. Huber's like, it was uncomfortable.
So good.
That was a truly unique experience. Super positive. I love
Oh,
unique
yeah,
experiences.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely.
We don't usually say
mean,
that
you could-
sarcastically.
You could say it sarcastically for sure, but generally positive.
That's what we want.
The more I think about that game, the more my opinion changes of it. I think that's
usually
also super
positive,
positive.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably positive, yeah.
Opinions change. That's good. You grow as a person. Or you regress as a person. I suppose that's also possible. The other allies probably think differently about this. I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want us all to have the same opinion.
Mhm.
Unless
say
it's
that-
us all praising Resident Evil, then it's we got to do that.
We do that.
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
that is actually
Let's keep that.
that is-
Keep that.
That is done. Yeah.
That's usually, when I say that, that's like damage control ahead of time. 'Cause it's like, I'm sorry that I didn't think this thing about this game everyone loves.
All I know is my gut says maybe. I don't think that is
That's
positive or
neutral?
negative. Yeah, it's
I'm completely
That's
middle of the
Leaning
road.
towards positive.
Definitively neutral,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's leaning
Strongly
towards
neutral.
positive.
but funny, so positive.
Positive. Benefit of the doubt. I'm always gonna hope.
All right, our next question comes in from Not Jack. I've been loving your Hitman coverage and Gen That Was, podcasts, and streams, as I really believe it's a game unlike any other with top-tier level design and personality. Part of why Hitman's level design is so good because it does limit their scope to focus on only a few locations. This made me think of if more games could benefit from reducing their quantity to increase the overall quality. So, allies, if you could limit the scope of any game to improve the overall quality or add other features to it, which ones would they be? Also, what would you cut and enhance?
Assassin's
I was just gonna
Creed.
say that. I was
Yes.
bursting at the
Everyone's
seams.
gonna say
I was
that.
bursting at the seams.
You just blew Damiani's ears out.
Yeah, that was so. I saw Huber leading
heats
to the
me.
mic. I was like,
It heats me up.
Yeah.
I get upset. I get upset when it's like virtually unanimous
Right.
that this is a thing you hear not just from reviewers in the industry that are trying to burn through all these video games, but like fans that have time. My best friend only plays really Assassin's Creed. It's his one game, and he just texts me all the time like, it's too freaking long. It's too freaking long. And then you get like Eve saying like, no, we're not going to shrink him down. Just this like combative nature. I just get so upset about it because I know in my heart that those games could be better if they just shrunk it down a little bit.
Yeah.
God.
I just finished Days Gone like a week or two ago, and I really liked that game. But boy, is that a great example of a game that could trim itself up for sure. It is too long.
But because it was such a freshman effort, I thought I got a sense of like the desperation where they were like, we need to be this big. And so it's like, I think that's actually a different message you can send to that publisher, whereas Ubisoft's just going to be Ubisoft. I think they can maybe take solace in like, you did too much, me needing, you're like, oh, we need to continue to make these camps relevant. So we're going to send you back to them to do totally meaningless jobs.
Yeah.
It's like, screw that camp. It's fine. I'm ready to move on. Like, I don't need to.
I think there was
of characters
a really interesting story there, but I don't think the story could support the length that the game went for.
We were talking on the podcast about if the Ubisoft Star Wars game could be on one planet, and I would like that. I would like to challenge those devs to not think that just because it's a Star Wars game, you gotta fly everywhere. Because like even like in Mandalorian, like in Star Wars, there's kind of this sense of like, well, everybody's got a ship. You just fly around. It's Star Wars, and it's like ships are really expensive. Gas is really expensive. I like actually in the last season of Clone Wars, they kind of talk like Ahsoka's in a situation where like they really talk about like how valuable it is to have a ship, and like you need to have somebody who knows how to fly it and knows how like politics in terms of like where you're allowed to fly and how like requests you have to get to land in certain places or to even get into the atmosphere of some planets. So it'd be cool if there was a Star Wars game where like just getting off the planet was like the mission of the game. Like that was a huge thing, like a big win at the end where you're like, yeah, and you take off. You're like, I did it, as opposed to just like, oh, I met a guy in a bar and here we go. It'd be neat.
Medium take. I think almost every game is too long. Like almost all of them could have like one chunk pulled out or more.
I don't know if others would agree with this or not, but I feel like Dragon Quest has gotten to that point where they're generally too long. Where like I'm really enjoying this game, and at some point like I'm not, and it's very much like like the Assassin's Creed kind of effect, where like as much as I love this game, like I'm ready for it to wrap up.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think the only thing that kind of softens the blow for me with Dragon Quest XI is I really loved the epilogue and how wild it was. And so like it felt like a nice reward for sticking with it, but I do totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
What's nice about I agree as well, but I will say, unlike Assassin's Creed, at least in Dragon Quest XI, for 80 hours, 90 hours, I'm still growing as the party, as the characters, whether it's in the plot or like mechanically. Like I'm earning XP, I'm earning gold, I'm getting better weapons, things to help me along the way. Whereas Assassin's Creed, by like the 5 or 10 hour mark,
you're good.
You don't even need anything.
Well, that's why I think like I'd like to see more developers taking on a tactic that some open world games and bigger games do, but not all. Is like, if you want to mainline story this thing, it's like 15 hours, whatever. But there's 100 hours of other stuff if you really want to live in this world, like Red Dead Redemption 2's story could have been like 60% as long. Like it could have been like almost half the length, but still with everything in there, you could still have lived in that world for a very long time. But if you wanted to get through the story, there's that choice. Like give the player the option, Cyberpunk kind of did it, but like Cyberpunk has a host of problems. So
I'm often really curious when I see like story difficulty when it's described that way. When I'll see like the easy mode, some people describe as like story mode when they're like you're literally just watching cutscenes. I'm always like, be curious to play a game like that. You know, like if I would really feel like I'm missing out on something, or if it would be enjoyable just to like understand what's going on.
The last thing Not Jack says is, P.S. Great go-to content. Didn't realize Bloodworth was such a music god.
Oh,
Easy.
okay.
Blood enjoys music.
Music guy, not music guy. Come on.
I just read the questions. Next question comes in from Jesse Blue. Hi, allies. My question is simple. Once you're vaccinated completely, who is the first person you're going to hug? Thanks for answering, and I'm sending hugs to you all. Love and respect, Jesse.
My mom.
Yeah, parents are a good call.
Yeah, bubbled with the parents, so probably my buddy Todd. A big old hug.
Yeah, give Huber a hug, dude. We're close.
Yeah, it'll probably end up being Jason Wishnov, just because I imagine I'll see him first. Might be Pam and Chris. I don't know. Friends though. Friend.
Yeah, probably a friend somewhere. It's a weird thing, and it'll probably be just essentially like the first person I see.
Someone on the street.
Yeah.
I wish it could be Vin Diesel.
I actually know them, but probably not somebody random, but you know.
Collective hug in the studio is good, chat. I do like that. That'd be good.
Will we jump up and down while we're hugging?
I mean, if we're limiting this question to easy allies, the answer will be, for almost everyone, probably Huber. And
Right.
Yeah, I'm coming in hot.
Yeah, yes, we will be jumping up and down. And then the goddess Standy. Yep.
Oh yeah, Lightning is also a good pick. Next
Walmart entrance worker. That's funny.
Next question comes in from Mo Grant. Hey allies, my question this month is simple. What are some of your favorite video game rivalries? Hold on. Some of your favorite video game rivalries. My personal favorite rivalry is Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. Me and my little brother have both been fans of the series since Street Fighter 2's launch back on the Super Nintendo, and we almost immediately claimed Ryu and Ken as our mains, with me picking Ryu and Ken being his main. As we continued to play Street Fighter over the years, our rivalry grew to match that of Ryu and Ken's, and to this day, when we play Street Fighter, we always save that matchup for last, so we can end that day's bout of fights with a heated battle between rivals. I love you. I want to do this. It's even spilled over to other games, as we would also anchor our Marvel vs. Capcom or Capcom vs. SNK teams with Ryu and Ken respectively, and have even taken this fight into Smash Brothers after Ken was added in Ultimate as an Echo. So, favorite video game rivalries?
I've got 3 quick ones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have one, and I'm going to tell you why it's not these other 2. It's not Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because they're like friends now. Not into it.
They do. It does get complicated, yeah.
Yeah, not feeling that. The next one, which I totally forgot. That's how my brain works. I just forgot it. There it is. It's gone.
Didn't write it down.
Gone. But it is Chris and Wesker. You knew it was coming.
Oh, I was gonna say Chris and Leon.
Like Chris and Wesker, rivals.
Landy and Rio for you.
Oh yeah, it's not. That was it. It's not Landy and Rio, because it's not even a rivalry to Landy.
Oh yeah, that's not a rivalry.
Who even are you, dude? Like, get out of here.
It's
like,
gonna be in the
not
next
worth my
5
time.
parts of those games are gonna make.
Yeah, it will be, but not yet. Not yet.
Solid versus Liquid's a good one.
Yeah.
Dante v. Virgil. That's like
Anime rivalry.
That's like the
sure.
one.
That's really
Suikoden 1 and 2 have some truly great ones. Where
Kane.
it's always the best when it's like used to be your friend, you know?
Kane and Cecil from Final Fantasy IV.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a
yeah.
great one.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
John and Dutch. Yeah, 2 games. You can see the seeds of that sucker.
Or the
a fun
player and Dutch.
Yeah.
This is good. Also reminded from chat, Kiryu and Majima. Very, very good. Ooh, Mega Man and Proto Man is great. Good call.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
More brother drama.
The Proto Man whistle.
I was distracted at the beginning of this question because Mo Grant, I immediately started thinking of Mo from Guts. And I was like, wasn't her name Mo Grant? And no, it's Mo Quirk.
And I started thinking of Mo Green from The Godfather.
Right.
Ah. And then there's like Mo Rocca, who's like a comedian who's on NPR sometimes. I don't know what the hell's going on.
And there's just Three Stooges Mo. There's a lot of Mo's.
Oh my god.
Chat is
Mo
saying
from The Simpsons.
Mario and Sonic, but I think they're way too nice to each other.
Yeah, they don't.
They're
yeah.
contractually obligated. To
cordial.
be
Yeah,
friends.
it's like a corporate rivalry.
Right.
Mario and Sonic are the kind of guys where they meet up in the locker room and then they're both just like, oh hey man, how you doing? And he's like, yeah, I can't complain. And then there's just like 40 seconds of silence, and then he's like, well, I'll see you out there.
Yeah.
It's
And then
pro
afterward
wrestling.
they're just like, good game, man. And he's like, uh-huh. And he's like looking at his phone and he just leaves.
Our next question is for Huber, coming in from Michael Rubelato. Hey allies, this is for Michael Huber. You seem to be the only ally who ever mentions the SOCOM series. I was a big SOCOM 2 fan. SOCOM 3 and Confrontation were solid too, and I don't think the series gets enough credit, for being such a popular and influential console multiplayer game. If I'm not mistaken, it's a top 25 best-selling PS2 game. My question for you is if you can speak to any memories with SOCOM and what you want from the series if it ever returned. Personally, I don't think the series fits in well during the PS3 generation, while multiplayer was more about respawns and XP grinds, but now tactical games like Rainbow Six Siege, PUBG, and Fortnite are immensely popular, so I think an intense game like SOCOM is ripe for a comeback.
Yeah, I like SOCOM a lot. It kind of gives me like Rainbow Six meets Battlefield vibes a little bit. I know it's not really like Battlefield, but that's just kind of like the feeling I get from it. I remember Brad, our friend, was like, Steven was obsessed with SOCOM. Our friend was diehard SOCOM fan. It's interesting to see some of these huge franchises just kind of disappear. You know, like
I mean, Ghost Recon's kind of similar, but look what happened to Ghost Recon. You know, it's moved so far away from the SOCOM style.
Yeah, I would love I know this is controversial, but like this is the era we live in. I'm sorry, not a battle royale, no, but maybe a free to play SOCOM, come back that way, do seasonal stuff, or like a remake / reboot. I definitely don't see any kind of sequel. Obviously, I don't know. I think because we have so many military shooters, so I feel like the way to come back is to come back kind of like PS Plus or like free to play, something like that, and do like a live service. I know that's maybe not what you want to hear.
Yeah,
but...
it's tough because you bring up Siege, and like Siege is still like really fast. Like I see people like specifically shooting like through cracks of doors. It's like they know the environment so well, so like they're reacting and just bouncing, twitching back and forth between like openings and you know, in points and out points and stuff like that. SOCOM's just not fast at all. Like SOCOM's just a very slow paced game, but like Full Spectrum Warrior, you know, like really satisfying at the same time. You know, kind of like, you know, not like an XCOM, but just kind of that same like super slow tactical. Every decision is very thought out. Not a huge inventory. You know,
that's why I say free to play, just because it's a lot to get into. I was thinking about the Twisted Metal reboot yesterday because all this Destruction All Stars hype, and just like that kind of killed that franchise. That kind of failed. It was like this big budget return, Twisted Metal, just called Twisted Metal, full on. You know, coming back, and it didn't do too well. So I wouldn't want that to happen to SOCOM.
I kind of get the sense that it was kind of an era where Sony didn't always know how to handle things that seem obvious. Like PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale also comes to mind. And it's just like, this was just handled weird. Like, why did you do it this way?
I remember I played a decent amount of SOCOM 2, I think, on the PS2.
Yeah.
Because I had I was a beta tester for Final Fantasy 11 and got that online adapter.
Nice.
Oh, sure.
I remember, I've told this before, but I remember like some like 10-year-old kid from Kentucky was like strategic mastermind, like leading our whole team, and we were all just like, all right,
So
man,
awesome.
yeah. Like,
So awesome.
I mean, I was a teen, but yeah, he was like, we need to pincer attack. We need to go this way. I was like, okay, kid. But yeah, Siphon Filter for me is the one. Someone in chat mentioned that. Ron's Pies. Yeah, I love Siphon Filter as a kid.
If Siphon Filter ever returns, it better be a demo that Shadow drops.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Oh,
Gets
baby.
the
What a
only way.
legendary demo, yeah.
Yeah, I feel so bad. The only thing I know about SOCOM is a SOCOM suppressor.
Snake.
Metal Gear.
Man.
Yep.
Playing SOCOM sounds really fun. Right now.
Yeah. Should probably play SOCOM
Let's
someday.
dust it off. Dig one up.
Tactics,
That's,
dude.
the final
just love
evaluation.
tactics. I love when a team has to work together, Ben. You know, I think of Call of Duty, a lot of those modes, I'm just like running in there, don't even care about my team, KD. Even Battlefield to an extent now, I'm just like, whatever, get the point.
Let's raid,
Like,
Huber.
yeah, just forcing you to rely on the people next to you.
But let's raid in something like DC Universe Online or something. Like,
Awesome. Jones is in.
Jones is in.
So
yeah.
in. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Say the word.
Hundreds of hours of prep.
Yeah.
For a joke stream.
Yep. That's what I want. Our next question comes in from Robert Lee. Hello, allies. If you could eat any one food without negative repercussions, what would you choose? This, of course, assumes we all like food that's bad for us. I absolutely love cheese pizza, but my stomach disagrees with it, but would eat it all day long if there were no consequences. That is the dream. By the way, I loved your Goaty deliberation, but I have to say, brackets, your Goaty was wrong, and brackets, my favorite game should have won Easy Allies
Nice.
Game of the Year.
Nice.
I think
Can
a
I
lot
say-
of people hold that opinion.
Can I say booze? It's like one of the most it's very destructive on your body, so I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
it
going to
is.
choose that one. like-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, yeah.
I'd love to be able to just like eat all the candy I could and have no repercussions.
Yeah, like
Miss-
eating. I would say like French toast, carbs, bread, without worrying about like weight gain would be
Yeah.
good.
I'd be with all the Skittles and I'd eat all the Skittles, Starbursts, and Sweet Tarts, and all the chocolate I could.
First, I was gonna say dairy, but I don't even miss it. Like I don't like cheese and stuff.
Every time I eat it, which is almost never now thanks to the pandemic, Sujita ramen, I feel like I'm going to burst at the seams, but it's like one of the greatest joys in my life, and I wish I could just eat it all the time without repercussions.
You and Naruto
I
both.
I can't eat Sujita because it's all pork based, but like when I eat at what's the other one, Tatsu, I always get sick to my stomach afterwards, and it sucks because I love it.
Yeah.
Don't know why. There's nothing in it. I think it's just super oily. I don't know.
Our second to last question comes in from Harrison Holt McHale. Hi guys, I recently
Strong
finished.
name.
Yeah, it is a strong name. I like it. Hi guys, I recently finished the most complete playthrough of Fallout New Vegas I have ever done and had a blast. For those of you who have played it, what is your favorite thing about that game? Cheers. Yeah, I have.
Oh, I love that game.
I do too. I have a very strong affinity for it. I have not played it in a very, very, very long time. I played it on 360. But yeah, I think that game is genuinely very, very funny and very well written, and I enjoy that quite a bit. I enjoyed the way they handled the different factions quite a bit. They were all fun interacting with. Like the factions definitely jumped to mind. The companions could be pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the depth of the characters, the narrative was really good. I remember just like I can still remember the like palpable sense of excitement I had getting into Vegas in that game. Like
Yeah.
they build it up in a really cool way, and once you get in, you're like, yeah, like because you go to Freeport or whatever it's called first, like it's like mini Vegas, and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, and then you get to the real New Vegas, and you're like, yeah. Just exploring that world is so much fun.
This is one of the earliest disagreements I had with Ben Moore, where
you weren't into it.
I was just hard out of Fallout. I played 3 on PC. I played New Vegas though on console, and I just couldn't get into it. Visually, it just depressed me. I just was having no fun. Couldn't get into it. Just I felt sad playing the game. It just put me in a really bad down mood. So I could just never get into it. And then when Fallout 4 came out, because my expectations were low, I was like, I love this. I like this game. So I really want to go back to New Vegas, especially considering now I might look at it differently and understand it more. And then just obviously knowing Ben way more now than back in the day. Like,
yeah,
hell yeah.
Huber,
give it another go.
No, just being around you a lot and hearing you talk about like the way that you respond to like quests in Witcher 3 and sub stories in Yakuza. Like I think of some of the New Vegas quests and they're just, some of them are just so creative and so much fun to go through. Like just really high quality stuff. So I think you would latch onto that. It you kind of gotta. It doesn't happen like immediately, but totally. It's in there for sure.
I would play it on PC now. I imagine my PC now can handle it. That's an old game.
Yeah.
So I remember I gameflied it and I got like 5 or 10 hours in. I was like, no.
Well,
and I had played 3 on PC. I had a good PC when that one came out, so maybe it was the combination of just like, oh, this is so rough.
Like Ash has said in chat, like you can really have a big impact on the story.
Oh
of the
yeah,
game as
huge.
a player. Like it's really cool.
Do we think that they'll remaster that game?
Maybe.
Well,
it's Bethesda, so it'll still look like it's 10 years old.
Well, technically,
Obsidian,
it's Obsidian.
Right?
Yeah, Obsidian made it.
That's right. That's right. They did that one.
And Microsoft now owns both Bethesda and Obsidian, so anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if it just shows up on Game Pass someday.
Yeah. With Obsidian probably working on with them working on Avowed and like the scope of that project, I don't think it's something that would happen anytime. So maybe they could give it to somebody else, but I don't know. Now I kind of want to go back to New Vegas.
Yeah, dude,
me too.
I'm very curious.
It's not a good time for it, but yeah, I do have fond memories of that game.
Valentine is the only reason now, like sole credit for me liking Fallout is Valentine.
Yeah. Fallout 4, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I liked him.
Our last question comes in from Nathan Curse. Hey, allies, I write this question just moments after completing Ghost of Tsushima. In my opinion, the way this game handled samurai... Excuse me, my goodness. This game handled samurai combat brought a whole new meaning to Huber's infamous feel the kill. Whether it was sticking my Tanto blade into someone's neck or slicing someone down with my katana, I was enjoying every minute of it. So I ask you this. What has been your strongest feel the kill moment while playing a video game? I'm talking real psycho shit. Don't hold back. Love and respect, Nathan. What a fantastic question, Nathan.
When Ellie kills David in Last of Us Part 1.
Oh, that's like a great answer.
You get him, you get the final hit, but then it obviously goes into a cutscene, but I'm still feeling that more than a lot of kills.
Manhunt the bag over the head, dude.
Love the bag.
The most extreme.
Love the bag.
Still love Revengeance. The Zandatsu, man. Just freaking slicing him in half and reaching in there and ripping it out. Smashing that spinal cord.
Dude, also just Ellie's stealth kills in Last of Us Part 2. The
neck
knife.
Stab. A lot of knife in the neck.
The long one, which is like the throat slit, and then when you upgrade it to the fast one, and it's a freaking death poke to the jugular. Just like feel every one of those.
The ones that come to mind for me, like the first ones that come to mind are like the first hard boss in the Bloodborne DLC, Lawrence. Is that Lawrence? I remember he was a real stumbling block, and when I finally got him, I was just like, yeah. And like the cursed Hellhound too, and that one was bonkers.
Oh, in the Chalice Dungeon.
In the Chalice Dungeon. Oh my god, that like easy. Weirdest experience because the first time we fed a Hellhound, it's like so easy, and then that one for whatever reason is so hard. Ludwig, yeah, there we go. Thank you.
It's because your health's like cut in half or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I got more used to the franchise, but I feel like assassinations in Assassin's Creed are now just like, oh, I'll just do this thing. Like they're not hard. You know, you're not like really analyzing a situation, and being like, how am I going to get in there? Because everyone's going to freak out. It's just like, I'll just get up on the rope and drop down on them when they're not looking, and then run away. Because like, you shoot as many arrows at me as you want. I am just going to run out of the city. And I remember like I had a kill in either Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood that felt like a trailer. Like it was back when, and this is another thing I did where you can like, is it drunks that you can like kind of send toward people? Yeah. Like I never did that. Why? Like why would I even bother to do that? But like I remember those were huge in the Assassin's Creed 2 era where it's like I'm gonna get courtesans or something, and like I had a bunch of fighters that just like ran at a guy. And so it was this huge fight, and like civilians were freaking out, and these guys were fighting the soldiers, and it was on the other side of a building. So I like sent them to go do it, ran over the rooftop, jumped down through a tunnel because I was like, maybe he's going to pop out of this tunnel. And then I ran into the tunnel like, oh no, he's not going to. And then he turned into the tunnel, like back facing me, like, and then turned and just looked right at me. And I was like,
so
and then just
sick.
like walked out, and nobody saw I was there. And I was like, I don't get any like, achievement for that. But like, oh, that felt
That's
good.
awesome.
To see that classic CG trailer moment of the target being like, and like seeing the attack coming. Like,
I don't think I've
So
seen
great.
a more pure joy on someone's face than Huber's face just now while you were describing that. It's just like pure.
Oh,
bliss.
those like, yes, dude, those assassination moments. Like, I miss that. You're just too strong now. Yeah.
well, it's Hitman.
I mean,
now
even-
that's all in Hitman. Like that
Yeah.
when nobody knows what you just did, and you're like, yeah.
Like, you're strong in those original Assassin's Creed, but it's more of like a nuisance getting caught, like the guard will run away, or
Right.
it takes longer to take everyone out.
What's funny in Hitman is like the accident kills. It's like clearly this was not an accident. Like clearly somebody set this up to happen. Like if you did any investigating, you would find that out. This isn't a kill, but it's really, really satisfying in like Street Fighter beating a Ken that just spams dragon punches, or like in Mortal Kombat beating a
real
scorpion
villain.
scorpion that just spams teleports. That is really satisfying. I guess in Mortal Kombat you could fatality them, so
Right.
Yo, this one is a major spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna say the game. Snake Eater.
Okay.
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
I kind of had a funny one is Splatoon 2, like with the bucket or something. Like when you get a kill with like a weapon that doesn't feel like it should be that good,
Sure. Yeah.
And particularly like if you're in like one of those like kind of standoffs with somebody and like you're struggling a little bit, and like just that sense of relief, like, all right, I got them and they didn't get me.
I remember there's an
Shadow
era
of
in-
the Colossus, dude. Shadow of the Colossus. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I've ever felt a kill more than.
Yeah.
The
Shadow
whole
of the-
game
At
is
the end of that
built
game,
around it.
even at the end of that game, I was like, so what? They were like, don't you feel bad? I'm like, nope.
You're a sociopath, Jones.
I
Yeah, we know
sorry.
that. We know.
I took him down. I
Take
remember
your pills, Jones.
I remember, Huber, there was like a 2-week period where all my friends didn't know that if you just chucked a remote mine in GoldenEye and then hit A and B, it would blow up in midair.
Mm-hmm.
And they would always be like, if you don't tell me how you're doing that, I'm going to stop playing this game with you. And I was just like,
Or the other little trick, going like you know how you
Back-a-weapon?
cycle the backwards weapon, the AZ or whatever.
Yep.
It's good. It's good.
those were the days.
There's
Yeah, I mean a good sticky mine, a good plasma grenade in
Yes,
Halo.
yes.
Just nailing that in multiplayer.
There's a kill in Last of Us 2 that the game forces you to feel, and it kind of, I felt it in a bad way, kind of.
I feel like there's a lot of that.
Yeah,
lot
there's
of
a
that.
lot of that, dude.
I think that is going to do it for the January 2021 Q&A. Thank you to everybody who wrote in. Again, this is a $20 and up tier on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/EZAllies if you want to submit a question, and we will try to answer it at the end of every month. This was super fun. It was nice having so many allies here to dig into these questions, and we will see you next month.